Welcome to Brittany. We're in northwestern France for the next few days to discover what this region has to offer. It's famed for its delicious food, stunning scenery, amazing cute towns which remain frozen in time, and its many myths and legends. So let's go and check out what it has to offer. Welcome to Locronan, which is widely considered to be one of the most beautiful villages in France. It's particularly well known for its well-preserved granite architecture, which largely dates back to the 17th and 18th centuries. It's actually been inhabited for well over 2,000 years when the Celts lived here and named it Nemeton. This small historic village of Brittany is full of character and traditions and is perhaps best known for the Grande Dournanez, a pilgrim route. Locronan also has a deep-rooted history in textile production, with locally grown natural materials like hemp used to manufacture useful fabrics. In the 14th century, the village was well and truly put on the textile map for weaving sailcloths used for large fleets of ships. The name Locronan literally means place of Ronan and is named for an Irish saint who is said to have come to the Brittany region and taught the locals how to weave. The main thing to do here is simply to stroll around, soak up the architecture, visit the church and the chapel, which are the only two ecclesiastical buildings in town which are open to the public, and taste some of the local produce, including galettes, which are buckwheat pancakes. Behind me is the tiny town hall. Most of the town is centred around Place de l'Église, which, as its name would suggest, is in the shadow of the church, which is completely free to visit and we should go and check out now. Just opposite the church, if you want to find out even more information about Locronan and its surrounds, then I highly recommend heading to the tourist office, where you can pick up walking brochures and other leaflets to nearby attractions. The main flower to check out here in this region of Brittany is the hydrangea. Now these can vary in colour between pink, purple and blue depending on the acidity of the soil, and the best time to see them tends to be late summer, so around August. As you can see, they're kind of not at peak bloom yet. It's currently June. This ancient chapel was built between the 15th and 17th centuries and is also one of the 12 stages along the famous pilgrimage route, the Grande Dournanez. It is surrounded by a calvary and a beautiful fountain. It's completely free to visit and is often open during daylight hours. The Dournanez is one of the most popular specialties from the region. It's mostly butter and sugar, so it's really delicious. We've just arrived at one of the most important places geologically in Brittany, as little has changed here since Paleolithic times. It's also one of the windiest places in Brittany. The most important thing to see here is Menez Dragan, which is an archaeological interpretation centre. The area was actually first excavated back in 1985 when a cave was discovered that had evidence of human inhabitation dating as far back as 465,000 years before Common Era, making it one of the oldest places that's been inhabited in Europe. There are three important historic highlights on this point. The first of these is right behind me, but is unfortunately closed to the public. This is an ancient cave which was rediscovered in 1985. Excavations in 1988 and 1989 led to archaeologists discovering that this cave was inhabited as far back as 465,000 years before Common Era. During the excavations, pebbles and also the evidence of fire were used, as well as some other animal bones. The next important site is the Gallery grave, and this is a Neolithic grave which was discovered in the 1800s but was unfortunately destroyed during World War II. The third site is this Neolithic necropolis, which is home to lots of ancient dolmens. In excavations in the 1900s, a type of pottery called Such pottery was found here, which is named after the point. Of course, people have continued to inhabit this region since Neolithic times, and so this guardhouse was built during the reign of Louis XIV in around 1747. Cap Zizan is a headland jutting out into the Atlantic Sea in Cornwall, which in turn is in Finistère, which in turn is in Brittany. So now we're going to go and drive along the headland to the point. We've just left our car in the final car park that you can along the point, and we've got around a kilometre to go before we reach the Pointe du Raz, which is the final and most westerly point of the headland. The car park here reminds me a lot of Land's End in Cornwall because there's an interpretation centre, lots of restaurants and cafes. It's very expensive at €8, but let's go and check out the point. This area is particularly known for its very dangerous rocky waters, and so there are a number of lighthouses on the point. It also grew to particular prominence during the 19th century when artists came to paint the area, and the rise of transportation links from places like Paris. Today, it's extremely popular, although the conservation efforts are a lot better. You have to stick to the path. There's like lots of rules and regulations to protect the wildlife. We then ventured further down the coastline to explore even more highlights of this beautiful region, including the Pointe du Raz. The Catholic chapel here is dedicated to Saint Tay and stands proud on the headland. It boasts commanding views of the surrounding coastline, including back onto Pointe du Raz. The ecclesiastical building here dates all the way back to the 17th century and is where sailors' wives would come and pray for their husband's safe return. The chapel is just 22 metres in length and was sadly closed during our visit, but was beautiful to look at nonetheless. Nearby, there's a small shrine and well. It was then time to return to our accommodation for the night. We stayed in this rustic farmhouse outbuilding, which has been transformed into a basic guest accommodation. And we even got to meet some of the locals. The next day, it was time to explore one of the largest towns in the region, Dournanez. We dined at Pesquet, which is a famous fish and chip shop, though they also have a vegetarian option, which I was really delighted by. Afterwards, it was time to explore the harbour, or should I say harbours, because this town has 4. The most impressive of them has been transformed into an outdoor boat museum where you can explore lots of historic boats and learn about the history of the surrounding area. To be honest, this is definitely a sunny day destination because when the sun is shining, there's nothing better than being next to the sea. I can only imagine that this place is probably not so fun when it's raining, but luckily, as you can see, we had great weather. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more travel content. See you next time. Bye!